What's going on, y'all? Sort of cold morning out here, y'all, in Indianapolis. A little bit. Anyways, so y'all see the title, y'all. This is what I want to speak on, all right? I'm just going to get right into it now. So I grew up under religious parents, right? My father and my mother were both Christians. We went to church every Sunday, pretty much. Bible study and all these things. We had participated in church. Um, I was never like a youth leader or anything like that. I never went that deep into it. But my father was a preacher. My father was a good preacher. I'm not gonna lie to you. He was very charismatic. He doesn't preach anymore, but I get a lot of my personality and humor and stuff from my father. Um, my charisma things, I get that all from my father. Um, and so that's what made him a good preacher. He brought in humor. He got a good personality. And he was very charismatic when he was preaching. Not only that, but he just was a good preacher, man. He made some very good points, and he's smart, and he presents himself very well, as well dressed, whatever. So I grew up in the church. Um, Never ever thought that I would even question whether God was real, because I never questioned it growing up. It wasn't even a question whether God was real. It wasn't until I started working in downtown Indianapolis as a cook, and I started working around. I'm just being honest, y'all. I never really heard about atheists. I heard about them, from a distance, but I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I went to predominantly black schools. It's not until I went downtown Indianapolis that I actually started working in kitchens and finally met atheists. I haven't really, I don't know if I've ever met a black atheist. I'm sure I have. But a lot of times, the atheists are white, from at least where I'm from. um, Not saying anything against white people. I'm just telling y'all what it is, what I've seen. So it was when I started working in kitchens. That's when I started hearing white people say like some very atheistic things. They will mock religion. It's one thing I don't like about atheists. It's like, okay, you are atheist, you believe what you believe, but why mock religion? Why mock somebody's religion or somebody's beliefs? I just feel like that's why I don't like people, y'all. This is why I really don't like people, man. But anyways, so that's when I first kind of started hearing about atheism. I was shocked to see all the atheists when I started working downtown. It was shocking to me that there were so many people that were atheists. It was specifically when I started working in a taco tequila bar downtown Indianapolis. It was like all the cooks were atheists. All the white guys were atheists. They were all like probably like rock band type dudes, you know what I mean? And they just loved mocking religion. They loved it. They loved mocking Jesus and mocking God. And it's like, to me that was just lame as hell. Like, it's okay. Okay, if you believe what you believe. None of us really know what's in the afterlife, man. None of us really know. We're all guessing. We're all faith driven. Even if you're atheist off. You don't really know what's in the afterlife, bro. You don't. Even as an atheist, in the back of their head, they're still thinking maybe God might be real. You never know. Even atheists, I believe, in the back of their head believe this. At least the intellectual ones believe this. The smarter ones. That there's a small chance that maybe even as an atheist that there might be God. So I can't stand atheists that mock. I gotta stop leaving these speakers on. So, and also, y'all, when I get to telling this story about, because I know y'all see the title, I'm gonna end up getting into this demonic story. Please do not start going in the comments with fake ghost stories, y'all. I know a lot of people be lying, because I kept these stories to myself. This story, to myself for a long time, and I'll get to telling y'all why. But and then so now I'll tell the story comfortably every once in a while. If somebody brings up, or the topic comes up on something like that, I'll bring it up. But a lot of people, you can tell, are lying. They make up bullshit ghost stories and shit. Please do not come into my comments with the bullshit ghost stories, y'all. If it didn't happen to you, do not try to falsify a story. I know y'all still are, because this is YouTube. This is the whole wide world. The people out here are crazy and don't have sense or are very ignorant. So I'm sure I'm gonna get hit with fake ghost stories. Just know mine is authentic. All right, y'all know I don't make this channel to make up content. This is real stuff that's happened to me. So anyway, so I grew up very religious. Now, even when I was with the atheists downtown, working with these atheists, that never broke my religion. I used to look at them like they was crazy. I thought they was just crazy as hell for being atheists, because I just couldn't imagine people not believing in God. That's just not how I grew up or whatever. It's just these are the first atheists I'd ever been around. So anyways, I started, I did a house arrest sentence, y'all. I did 3 years house arrest. While on house arrest, me and my ex had left me. She did me dirty, and she left me in such a dirty way. Like, that's a whole nother story. And I was down. I ain't gonna lie to you, it hurt. Okay, how she left me. So I kind of dived into religion. I started praying and stuff like that. And as soon as she left me, I started getting blessings too. That's when as soon as she left me, I ended up getting a salary position for 50,000 a year as a sous chef at my job. And for me, y'all, that was like almost a miracle because I'm a 2-time felon on house arrest. Um, and I just kind of slipped in through the cracks. And as soon as I got in, like a couple months later, they stopped hiring fellas. And they weren't even able to see that I had 2 felonies because my felony, when I started that job, my felony hadn't hit yet. I hadn't signed my plea yet. So I slipped in through the cracks. I got real lucky and I worked my ass off. And yeah, a lot of people got promoted over me before I got the position because, like I said, I don't care what anybody says. When you're black, you have to work harder. So I had to bust my ass off, and then finally, about a year later, I ended up getting a position that I should have got in the first place because of my experience and my work ethic. Um, but anyways, so I'm depressed at this time. That was the first and only time I'd ever really truly been depressed. Like I understand what depression is now. I know what it feels like. It's a very horrible feeling. You just feel like the pain will never stop. And now that's probably why people are, sometimes give in, cave in, they commit suicide. I'm not. I'm not trying to say that people that commit suicide are weak, but I mean that's a weak point because you can't take the pain anymore. Um, I understand how I've been to that dark moment before, but it's not suicide though. But I've been to that dark moment where it's like, when is the pain gonna stop? This is what made me dive into religion again. I started coming up with I even stopped listening to rap music, y'all. I even tried to take cussing at my music. Even my songs were real reflective on religion. I had a song called King Ebenezer that was real deep, y'all. It was like you type in King Ebenezer, it might pull up on YouTube. I spell Ebenezer different though. But the lyrics were just real deep. It was like cold as the winter wind around me. Now what did I say? I don't even remember. I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. But anyways, the lyrics. This is a hard ass song. The hardest song I ever wrote. But that's when I started diving into religion. I started like really disciplining myself. And here's the thing I don't understand with religious people, y'all. When people say that they're religious, I never see them try to discipline themselves. Here's the thing about Christians. I see Muslims kind of discipline themselves. I don't really know too much about Jews like that. I've studied the religion, but I haven't really met and been around Jews like that to really know how disciplined they are. I don't think they're disciplined either. I mean, look at Will Ferrell and them. But um, so with Christians, I realize Christians do not follow the Bible. Christians will make up their whole own religion just so they can feel comfortable doing what they want to do. They really don't respect God at all. Like Christians are crazy. What I've really seen with Christians is the men will preach and say all these things, but behind closed doors, they're cheating on their wives, they beating their wives, they molesting. Like, this is what I usually see with men that are preachers and stuff. What I usually see with the women is that are Christians, women will live these crazy lives, they go in all these whole phases, they do all these wild things, they use their body for sex. They use their body to get what they want from men. They do all these gold digging things. They justify it somehow. And then after their youth and after they looks start to go away, then they start diving into being a Christian. That's just something I can't respect for the men or the women. And this is something I see a lot, y'all. Now, I know a lot of religious people are going to hop in my thing and try to, I know, y'all, this is not a debate. I'm just telling y'all what I've seen. I'm not saying this is with every religious person, but it's with a lot of y'all, okay? So with a lot of us. I'm not gonna lie. When I get religious, I try to really discipline myself. When my faith is strong and I really believe in God, I'm not one of those people that behind closed doors I'm doing this and then I'm preaching to the to the world or something, like, you know what I mean. I really try to discipline myself. I really will cut out rap music. I really start eating better. I really start praying all the time. I really start trying to get everybody around me to believe in God. I'll start debating with atheists like crazy. Like I couldn't stand atheists when I was on my religious thing. Like I couldn't, man, because they were just so mocking of religion. It was sickening to me. Like you can almost see the evil in them when they do it. Like that's the devil in me. Like in them, in my opinion. Like I just don't understand that with atheists. It's just retarded. It's disrespectful and it's just unnecessary. And it kind of shows you there's something wrong with them. Because why are you mocking religion that strong, that heavily? Like it's something wrong with them internally. Like they're miserable somehow. Maybe they lost a loved one, or they just they just had a horrible life, and they just like, hey, God can't be real. Which is one of the things that atheists have as a good argument is, with all the suffering in the world, no, it's hard to believe in God. Even animals, the animal kingdom. Why does the animal kingdom suffer? The animal kingdom suffers more than humans. You know, like I said, if there's a creator, then he knows what we don't know. I believe in a creator. It's just hard to believe in religion. It's even harder to believe in a creator sometimes. You just don't know. But to me, it's kind of evident that there's a creator. You know, I don't see why atheistic scientists don't believe that there's a creator, because the world just really points towards a creator. The universe does. But they find every reason to believe that it doesn't. Anyway, so I started debating with these atheists when I was getting into my religious thing. And the more I debated with atheists, I would start studying, man. You know, I would start studying things like the origins of the universe, and oh shit, I will study the origins of the universe. I have books like this, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, astrophysics for people in a hurry. It's, astrophysics. Like I wanted to start studying the Big Bang Theory, the theory of evolution. So I knocked down my books trying to get to that one. I started studying things like that. I really dove into science, which is something most Christians don't do. There's a joke by atheists saying that Christians are probably the most unintelligent people in the world because they only read one book, and that's the Bible, and they barely read that. That's a joke that atheists tell. It's kind of true, y'all. You know, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I hate to say this, but yes, I will see that a lot of times Christians aren't super intelligent. Like in general, like people that are religious really don't read a lot that I've seen. Maybe I'm judging this too wrong, but this is something I've kind of noticed. Like religious people really don't read or study, or they don't even question their religion at all. They don't dive deep into it. They just kind of accept it and believe it and go on. I wish I was one of those people, y'all. But unfortunately, I dove into knowledge and to try to understand everything. And the more I studied science and religion, the more Christianity and religion just became more of a question mark to me. And I sadly started to lose my faith, and I've never been able to restore it. And one of the things that holds me onto religion is what happened to me as a child. And this is the story I'm going to get into. So 100% true story. Like I said, please don't hop in my comment section with fake ghost stories, y'all, if this is the part of the video that y'all been waiting on. So when I was maybe I don't remember how old I was exactly, 9 or 10 or something. I just remember we were living in this big house. I remember, our 3615 address. We were living in this house, and me and my sisters, my sisters are a week and a year older than me. They're twins. So it's 3 of us in the house at the same age, pretty much. And so we used to always argue and everything like that. And so when one of us would go take a bath at night, we weren't even taking showers back then, they were baths. When we would go take a bath, just to mess with the other person, one of us would throw some toys over in the shower and throw something at the person, and the person in the shower and in the tub would start complaining to my mother and shit. And this happened every night. So my mother had came up with a rule that only one person can be upstairs at a time when we took baths. Because our shower was such a weird shower. I've never seen another shower like this. Maybe in a movie, maybe, I don't know. But I've never seen a shower like this in person except for ours. We had an old ass house. Because the shower had like a metal door to it with the glass on it. Maybe y'all seen this before. And you could just open the door to the shower, and that's how you entered the tub, with this metal door. So it was a small bathroom upstairs. And so it was my turn to take the shower. I want to say I was the last person, because I don't remember my sisters going in the shower and after that. I think I was the last one to take a bath that night. And so I'm laying in the tub. I'm a little fat kid. I'm laying in the tub, just chilling. Now, like I said, the rule was no one could come upstairs when we took a bath, and we stuck to that rule. We abided by that rule. So I left the main bathroom door open. There's also a door to the shower. I left that door open. And I'm just chilling in the tub. If somebody who had to happen to run upstairs, I could have just closed the shower door and locked it, because it had a lock on it too. Old ass, like metal glass door. It was, throwback like crazy. So I'm just chilling in this tub one day, that night, and I just happened to look over, y'all. And there's these 3 shadows that had started creeping out of the floor. Dark shadows. I'm over here looking at this Joker poster right now. It's kind of creeping me out while I'm telling this story. Look at the Joker. Y'all see him? That Joker poster kind of creeping me out when I'm telling the story. He's looking like, you better shut up. So I'm telling. So I'm in a tub, and these shadows start creeping out the floor. 3 of them. It's like they just started rising out of the floor. Now I look over, and then no, I'm lying, y'all. They did not rise out the floor. They came out the closet. There was a closet door right there. Let's say there's like I'm in a tub. It's a small hallway, and then there's a door right here. It was the door to my room because my room didn't have a closet, so there was a small little closet door that I would put my clothes in. So they're creeping out of this door, tippy toeing, like they were creeping through the house, like they didn't want to get caught. And I look over and I see these dark ass shadows. When I say dark shadows, I mean black ass shadows. I mean, just imagine the darkest shadow you can picture on the wall, like super dark shadow standing in the middle of the floor. The only thing I've seen that compares to this is White Noise. If you ever seen the movie White Noise, those dark shadows on White Noise, I saw this before White Noise came out. Just to let y'all know, I never seen anything like this before in my life. And when I saw the movie White Noise, I'm like, damn, that sort of looked like what I saw as a child. So these shadows are creeping out the floor, and I'm in shock. I'm scared as fuck. But then the one in the middle turns and he looks at me. And it's like he had a face, but he didn't have a face. It's hard to explain. And my whole body freezes. I try to jump out the tub. I try to yell. Like, you know what I mean? I freeze in fear and terror. Like, I ain't never felt nothing like this before. It's almost like you about to get hit by a car. This is how I always explain it. It's like the feeling you feel, or like you about to get hit by a car, or something crazy about to happen. That fear that you feel, magnified by like 20, 30. I don't know, man. The fear was crazy. Like, I was frozen in fear and terror. Could not move, could not speak or anything. And they just stared there and stared at me. They were in shock. The one, like, I'm really paying attention to the one in the middle, but they were in shock too. They're like, what the fuck? And they just stared there and looked at me in disbelief, sort of. And I'm thinking, they got me. There's nothing I can do. I can't even move or talk right now. I feel like they froze me in an impossible position because I was on my way to jump out the tub and yell for help. And I couldn't. And they kind of just turned their heads after they stared at me for a minute. They had a stare down with me. And they kind of sunk into the floor. That's how they left. They continued creeping and they sunk into the floor. As soon as they finally left, I get my body back. I get the control of my body back. I let out the yell. I yell loud in the motherfucker, and I jump out the tub. I wrap a towel around me. I run downstairs to my family. I'm like, I just seen a ghost. Now, here's the thing. My mother's not she was never like a loving mother. I grew up, like I said, y'all, not in a loving situation. My father was hard on us. He spit on us, hit on us, tell us we were stupid. Tell me, I grew up a fat kid. He told me I was fat all the time. And basically, this is the conditions I grew up under. And my mother was very just non-loving. She wasn't a loving mother. You could never just get my mother to show you motherly love or any type of way. So, of course, when I go and I jump out the shower and I run downstairs and tell my mother, first off, they laughed at me, y'all. I'm not going to lie. As soon as they laughed at me, I started laughing. Even though I know it just happened, they started laughing. I started busting out laughing because I know what I said sounded crazy. But here's the thing. I was a fat kid. This is one thing I felt like they should have paid attention to because a lot of people just don't pay attention to detail. That's why I hate debating with people because I know I don't give my thoughts all the way through sometimes. But, read between the lines. Maybe I just see things how I see them. Maybe I don't explain them that well. Some people explain my thoughts better than I can. So, So a lot of these videos I be making, like, I don't think I do a very good job of getting my point all the way through sometimes. That's something I need to work on. But so this is something I feel like they just should have realized. They should have known, okay, I'm a fat kid. They have never seen me step out the shower with a whole outfit on. When I come out the bathroom, I am fully clothed from head to toe. That's how I come out the bathroom. Even to this day, if I'm not living by myself, I come out the bathroom fully clothed. I've been like this since a child because I grew up insecure, fat. My father made me insecure. My mother made me insecure. My sisters made me insecure. It was not a happy household. And then I ended up getting diagnosed with psoriasis. If you look up psoriasis and like mental health or insecurities and shit, boom, That's me. So, and I know I'm confident too. Don't get me wrong, I'm confident too, but I'm very insecure. So, um, so I feel like they should have noticed that with me having this towel around me, that this wasn't no joke. The story isn't done, y'all, with these ghosts. So I'm sorry. Um, anyways, they laugh at me. And at the end of the night, my mother was like, I was like, listen, man, okay, we laughed. I let the night go on. I watched TV, whatever. I kind of pushed it out of my head. But when it was time to go to bed, I know what the fuck I just saw. I was not about to go sleep in my room by myself. So I told my mother, I'm like, listen, I can't go sleep in my room. I was like, can I sleep in your room? And she reluctantly said yes. She let me sleep on a little lounge chair in her room. Um, but after like 2 nights, she told me I had to go back to my room. Like I said, I never got consoled or anything for seeing these demons or anything. I feel like I should have got some type of consolement. Hey, baby, it's gonna be okay. I'm a fucking child. No consolement at all. It was just go back to your room. I feel like my posters are looking at me. This is paranoia at its finest. So, um, Tupac mugging me. Pac, come on now, quit looking at me like that. But anyways, so my mother makes me sleep in my room after 2 nights. I go back into my room that night. I sleep in my room, scared as fuck, and I finally get to sleep. And then I experience sleep paralysis for the first time ever. I have sleep paralysis. The sleep paralysis, if you don't know, is like they say that your brain wakes up before your body. So your mind wakes up before your body. That's how scientists describe it. There's more to sleep paralysis than that. With my sleep paralysis, first off, it felt like I was in another dimension. I knew I was in my bed. I knew I was laying in my bed. I knew my body was in my bed. I knew I was in my bed. But my mind, or maybe you could say my spirit or whatever, was in another dimension. Still in the bed, not the exact same bed as my bed, not in the same room. It's like I knew I'm laying, my physical body's laying in my bed, but I am in a whole nother dimension. It's hard to explain. And at the edge of my bed, I see the demon in the middle. That's who's at the edge of my bed when I started having sleep paralysis. And I'm froze and I'm stuck in terror, just like that night I was in the tub. That's the feeling of my sleep paralysis every time. I'm scared of the dark still sometimes to this day. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This was a very traumatic experience for me because it didn't stop. So I would have sleep paralysis and I would see this demon at the edge of my bed, and I'm trying to fight to wake up. I'm fighting to wake up, trying to get out this fucking state that I'm in terror. And it's like I had the feeling if I did not win this fight, I would die and be stuck in this fucking dimension. That's how I felt. Like I had to wake up or I'm gonna get stuck here. This sleep paralysis started that night and lasted until my late 20s, maybe mid 20s. It lasted for years, at least 10 years, over 10 years, about 15 years maybe, close, I don't know. Yeah, close to 15 years because it started early. And the thing about the sleep paralysis is, stop looking at me, Joker. See, this telling the story. I swear, y'all, this is a real story. So this is something I've never ever gotten over. Okay, I'm paranoid right now with the Joker just looking at me. Like my fucking posters got me paranoid just telling the story, y'all. Yeah, I mean, I'm not lying, man. I'm not scared of anything on this earth. I'm scared of demons. I'm scared of those demons popping back up in my life. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Because I don't, and here's some more things about this. All right. So, anyways, this happened for years. It never happened when somebody was around. When I went to jail, to prison, I never had sleep paralysis. When I moved into my first house and I moved people in, I never had sleep paralysis. But when I'm by myself, all by myself, I have sleep paralysis. Up until that time, it stopped. I haven't had it in years. I had sleep paralysis only when I was by myself. The same dreams, the same way, the same demon at the end of my bed, The same feeling that if I don't fight this demon, this feeling, because that's what it was. I was fighting for my life. That's how I felt. Um, if I didn't win, they would, and I would be stuck in this dimension. That was the feeling. Horrible feeling, man. Scary feeling. And all of a sudden it stopped. I don't know why it stopped. What confirmed my thoughts on what I saw, because you tell a scientist this, they're gonna say that you are hallucinating or something, which is a valid point, I guess. You could be hallucinating. The reason I felt like wasn't hallucinating was, first off, because it only happened. It was too many coincidences. First off, before I had sleep paralysis, I'd already seen these demons, and now I'm seeing the one at the edge of my bed. It's not like I'm just having sleep paralysis and all of a sudden there's a shadow. Like people talking about the shadow man when they have sleep paralysis. I already saw these motherfuckers when I was wide awoke in the bathtub. You know what I mean? So what confirmed it for me was the rapper Prodigy. And I can't remember. I've been looking for it since this day. Like I've been looking for it for the last few years. There was a rock band. I don't know if it was like the Ozzies. It was one of these demonic rock bands that did all the demonic shit. And they ended up finding some demonic book. And one of the rock members took it home. And he said he was at the edge of his bed. And he woke up one night and he sees this dark shadow. And he's frozen in fear and he can't move. This happened when I was 9 or 10. This interview that he did probably happened 10 years after what happened to me. Then also, if you're familiar with the rapper Prodigy who passed away, before he passed away, one of his last interviews, he saw the same thing. He described it as the Black Spider-Man. That's how he described it. He was like, man, it's like the Black Spider-Man, but he described it the same way, pretty much a dark shadow that had him frozen in fear. He said he felt like a child. It was while he was in bed. He couldn't move. He was just terrified. He said he put the cover over his head. I couldn't put nothing over my head because I was frozen in fear when I saw what I saw. So that lets me know that these things are real. This is what holds me on to the fact that there has to be afterlife and more to this world than we know. And the scientists, the atheists, just don't know what they're talking about. It's possible to be very smart and ignorant about something at the same time. Because when you're smart, you just kind of like, I don't know. I'm probably have the same thing. I feel like I'm intelligent, and I feel like maybe there's things that I'm not seeing because I don't know. So I'm still looking at the Joker poster. He's still looking crazy at me. I love the Joker, but so it's the evil that I saw and I experienced with these experiences that lets me see the evil in the world. And I made that video about the devil's advocate where he's saying that we're pretty much living like the devil's winning right now. I saw the devil in my ex. I felt like she was super evil. I felt like she was a very evil woman. That's the woman that broke my heart and had me like real down on house arrest when she left me and did me dirty. I felt like I saw evil in her face. I even had a dream when I was with her. In the dream, I felt like it was a warning from God. In the dream, this is after we actually broke up and I wanted to get her back. And in the dream, me and my ex were together. We were living in this house, some house I'm not familiar with. And then one morning we wake up and the roof was gone. The roof was gone from the house. And then somehow she ended up just leaving me one day. Just left. She left. All her stuff was gone. I'm in this house, hurt like a motherfucker like I was when she did it to me in real life. And then I realized as I looked up, the roof was back. She left and the roof came back. To me, that was I don't remember a lot of my dreams. To me, that was a very significant dream because it made me feel like I would never have anything with her. I wouldn't have a stable household. I would never have a roof over my head if I was with a woman like this. She was only going to bring me down. That's how I took that dream. I saw the evil in my ex's face. I seen my guy told me he saw demons in his sister's face. I kind of know what he's talking about. I don't believe they were real demons, but I saw the evil in her face. He said he saw demons coming out of her face. I don't know, y'all. That's just a crazy story, just like my story is crazy. You never know, what people see. That's why it's hard for me to believe in what I saw as a hallucination. Now, this is what makes me believe that, it's hard for me to say, okay, God ain't real. Then you look at the evidence of God, like the universe. When you look at scientists, when they look into the Big Bang Theory, this is going to be a long video, all right? Scientists, when they look into the Big Bang Theory, it's like they'll insert a theory to support a theory. Like you got the Big Bang Theory, and then for the Big Bang Theory to work, you need the inflation theory. Because the Big Bang Theory is like they'll say it's a singularity. You know, the universe started off as a singularity, just a small, dense um, thing in space. There's no time and space don't even exist outside this thing. They exist within this dense object, very dense, small ass object. And then this object starts to expand. What did they say started it off? Inflation. That's when they inserted the inflation theory. Because in order for time to expand, it had to happen, I believe, at a rapid pace. I don't feel like getting into the science of it. But the thing about the Big Bang Theory is there's something called what the fuck are they called? Whatever this world is built up of. I can't get into it yet. My memory's bad. What I'm trying to say is there's too many things in the Big Bang Theory that are almost miraculous. Anytime you hear people bring up the Big Bang Theory, I'm gonna get into this in another video, y'all, because I hate the fact that I'm drawing black space right now. I'm having a bond moment. Anytime you look into the Big Bang Theory or the theory of evolution, there's always some leap, some big ass leap that they can't explain. Like, why is life so sustainable on Earth, but it isn't sustainable anywhere else in our galaxy? It's perfect, y'all. We're the perfect distance from the sun to not burn to death and not freeze to death. We're perfect. What else is perfect about this universe? All the elements we need to survive, we have right here on Earth. Water, plants, trees. We all have this to survive. The theory of evolution, how we evolved into humans. It takes miraculous jumps for these evolutions to happen. For us to go from just no animals at all to just some single cell organism in a pond, in some boiling pond, to over billions of years to evolve into a tree, and then over millions and millions of years it evolves into some type of bug or bacteria, and then over millions of years it evolves into a bug, and then that bug starts to grow legs. And then here's the thing, the confusing thing about the theory of evolution. Why do we have two different species? How is it every animal broke up into two different species and now they can reproduce? That's the part of theory of evolution that doesn't make sense to me. There's a lot of parts that don't make sense to me. I need to brush up. I haven't read on these things in so long. I need to brush up my history. That's probably why I'm having a blind moment right now. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, everything evolves, but how do you get in each species two different sexes that can reproduce in abundance and then keep on going and keep on going? How did humans reach that point? How did you reach two different species or two different genders? How did you end up with a male and a female to be able to reproduce with evolution? How did that happen? That just doesn't make sense. Why didn't it just stay with one gender? Because if it stayed with one gender, then everything would die off probably. It had to reproduce. You do have cells and organisms out here that are not gender specific and they can reproduce on their own. But humans and animals don't operate that way. We need the opposite sex to reproduce. So how did that opposite sex even come to be? Through evolution. That part doesn't make sense to me. Then when they do their research, they're doing research over things that are millions and millions and thousands of years old. I think DNA is dead after, is it 1,000,000 years? 100,000 years? I don't even remember anymore, y'all. God, I gotta restudy these things. I feel so bad right now. I feel like I shouldn't even be doing this video right now. But as far as like the science, y'all, there's too many miraculous leaps in evolution. There's too many leaps in the theory of the Big Bang Theory to make this world what it is. I wish I could remember the name, but either way, there's these two things, and there's something in the universe we need to survive. And in the Big Bang Theory, produced, let's say, 1,000,000 of these things, right, for us to survive. And it also produced the anti-version of this thing, which means when these two things collide, they destroy each other. I cannot remember the name of what I'm trying to think of, y'all. Somebody tell me in the comments. I feel so bad right now. Anyways, in order for us to survive, for us to be here as life, there had to be, so if you have 1,000,000 of these things, and you have 1,000,000 of the anti-version of these things, they're all going to destroy each other. For life to have sustained and to come into existence, like it is today, there had to be 1,000,001 versus 1,000,000. One thing of these things had to survive in order not to cancel out each other. It had to be 1,000,001 to 1,000,000. Because if there wasn't that extra one, we wouldn't even be here. That's a miracle. I know I'm not explaining it like to maybe y'all don't get it, but that's a miracle in the Big Bang Theory. I wish I knew what it was that I'm trying to think of the word. I keep on saying antibodies in my mind, but it's not antibodies. That's that's our body. It's something that we need in the universe. What the fuck? What is the universe built up of? I don't even. Not gonna get into it. Either way, nothing in science is explained without something miraculous happening. The dinosaurs. Let's take the dinosaurs. We wouldn't be here if the dinosaurs were here, right? The dinosaurs would be the top of the food chain. We're the top of the food chain. Why is it that an asteroid that they say hit the universe and destroyed all these dinosaurs perfectly for us to evolve? Why is it that the other species of humans aren't still here? Why none of them survived? We were the only one survived. I understand natural selection and all that, but in all these species, none of these other humanoid species survived, just humans. I don't know, y'all. These are just how I look at things. I just believe that scientists are very they're first off they deny the spiritual realm. All the people that have seen ghosts, all these people that have had these spiritual experiences, you can't deny all of them aren't hallucinating. You know, I know this all sounds shaky, and I know I'm not explaining it well, but these are the things that makes me believe that God has to be real. God had to create life for us to look. We have medicines on earth, y'all. We can heal ourselves. In the Bible, they talk about fasting. In the Quran, they talk about fasting years before doctors ever told you to fast. They tell you to do it in the Quran. They tell you in the Bible. They tell you to circumcise yourself years before doctors ever knew about years before doctors confirmed that circumcision is a hygienic thing that men need at birth for hygienic reasons. They tell you to wash your hands. They tell you all these different things in the Bible, not to eat pork. What diet that you should be eating? Fish. Fish is one of the best things you can eat. It's a good source of fat, a good source of amino fatty acids, what are amino omega-3 fatty acids. There's all these things that are in these holy books that are so relevant to today and how we live today. Even in the Bible, when it talks about men and women, the whole men versus women argument, if people just follow this one verse in the Bible, relationships will work probably. This one book in the Bible, whatever it is, Peter, where it calls the woman the weaker vessel, and that men need to have patience with these women because they're the weaker vessel and being emotional. That's one of the biggest things that's going on in our communities with men and women. The women are emotional. The men are now emotional. And since the men don't have patience with these women, then they're emotional and now they're feminine like too. That's why men are feminine, because they don't have patience. You have to have patience with women because women are different than we are. And people like to speak that men or women are so much the same and the only difference are our body parts. That couldn't be further from the truth. Men or women are different. It shows you that in the Bible. That's why I can't respect people that say that they're Christians and stuff, because they support these ideas. Oh, men and women ain't the same. Read the Bible. It'll tell you that men and women aren't the same. Like we have so much there are gender roles. It says it in the Bible. Christians will say they're Christians and they'll go against everything in the Bible and preach their own beliefs. They'll literally create their own religion. That's the reason why religion is kind of hard for me to kind of accept, because it's like, I don't know. And then it's like, which religion do you choose? The Quran has some very good points. The Bible has some very good points. If the Quran is right, am I going to get condemned for believing in Jesus? In the Quran, it says you won't. But in the Bible, if I decide to believe in Prophet Muhammad and maybe not believe in Bible, maybe not accept Jesus as the Father, as our Savior, and believe that he was a prophet, but not the Son of God, am I going to get punished by the Christian God for believing in Islam? I believe the Bible said you will. Religion is very tough, y'all. So it's hard for me to kind of get my faith back. I wish I could. I want it back. I really do. I'll still pray even with the doubt in my mind. I'll still say a prayer. I'll um I'll still try to go on a mission to make the world better, but my faith is broken and I want to restore it. And the only thing that really keeps me on to my religion and my faith, or to my faith, is the fact that I did see demons, and I just don't feel like it was a hallucination. And that's just the one thing that keeps me going, y'all. That keeps me believing in God. Um, I want my faith restored. Whether my faith gets restored 100% or not, I'm still going to preach and try to spread good when I have the power to. I want to cut out rap music. I want to just change my whole way of thinking and try to influence the world in the most positive way I can. I know we see these videos, or y'all see my videos, and they're controversial topics, and I'm gonna let y'all know y'all probably want to unsubscribe right now, because I have way more controversial things coming up, and some of these things are going to be sensitive to y'all. Men versus women, science versus religion, black versus white. A lot of these things are going to be sensitive to people, and they're going to already lose subscribers. I lose subscribers, not all the time, but I do lose subscribers. They get replaced as soon as they leave. But I do lose subscribers because of my content, because it's very controversial, and I understand. I don't mind. But I just wanted to throw that out there, y'all. I really do need help with my faith being restored, and hopefully, I really pray that it does get 100% restored one day, so I can just really step into what I need to step into, man. So I'm putting this out there. Y'all pray for me. Hopefully, I put this into the universe, and God feel this a little bit more, and hopefully restore my faith.